Ladies and gentlemen, and today's video, there's one particular lady that I'm going to share her clips here with me. Okay, some people might think that I'm the only one who is big in Jamaica. Okay, you're big in Jamaica. You're big in Jamaica too much. No, I'm not the only one, ladies and gentlemen. There is this one American lady, and she has said that she's going to seek out for a spouse in Jamaica. Yes, the land we love, the land of wood and water, ladies and gentlemen. Anything that can come close to paradise here on earth is Jamaica.
Everywhere I wanted to go, I said, take me to the hood. Okay, let's pull up to the hoods because I want to experience real Jamaica. Honestly, I feel like if I live in Jamaica, I just feel like I'll be at peace. Like, it's no peace in America.
Yes, of course, when you speak about the beauty of Jamaica, you can't leave the people alone. You can't leave them people alone. The people, it's the people that make up the goodness of Jamaica, because after all, they are hospitable. They are friendly, ladies and gentlemen. And because she mentioned in one of her videos, even though I have not uploaded here, that she's going to find a spouse in Jamaica. One thing that I have come to realize about Jamaican people, they have a neat, tight family. Okay. When you get married, or when you are married off in a Jamaican household, they accept you as their own. They accept you. They take you as their family, ladies and gentlemen. It's very hard to go in a place and get married off in a place, or you marry in a place and the people in that place do not accept you. It's going to be very hard. But for a Jamaican, it's different. Okay, as long as you have married one of their own, or as long as you have married off from one of their own, then they see you as a family. Family is very important. Unity or family is a very important aspect in any Jamaican household, ladies and gentlemen. Another thing is Jamaicans are so united. They support one of their own. Okay, so imagine, because she said that she's going to get married off in a Jamaican household. Now imagine if she's accepted into a Jamaican family. Definitely they are going to support. They are going to support her. Okay, Jamaican believe in the spirit of I and I. Your problems are my problems. Okay, your blessings are my blessings. That's why they support each other. Yes, they have their own shortcomings. Yes, they have their own differences. But at the end of it, Jamaicans support Jamaica. Jamaica support Jamaican every day. A Jamaica support a Jamaican every day. You understand me? Huh? Ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the beautiful traits of the Jamaican people. And when you speak about the island, the beauty of the island, definitely you cannot leave them people alone. You cannot leave them people alone. Someone said, yo, Marcos, you big up Jamaica too much. Said, yeah, it's true. Okay, when I talk about these things, I have done my own due diligence, and I have also done my own research, ladies and gentlemen. Another thing is, Jamaicans are very social. They are very, very social, very interactive. They crack jokes. They make humor. You know how hard it is to talk to someone who is not social? How hard it is to talk to people who are not, bored people. But for a Jamaican, you will even see an ordinary, someone, he doesn't have as much, but he's so happy. You will see him taking his own round and dancing. Imagine that kind of life, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes I also wish I was a Jamaican. Sometimes I also wish I was in one way or the other. If we were allowed to choose our ethnicity, then definitely I will choose to be a Jamaican. Okay. Another thing is, Jamaicans have one of the most beautiful accent. Jamaican accent sounds so musical. It sounds so musical. Huh? Yeah, I'm not lying. Jamaican accent sounds so musical. And also they have this special ability, superpowers of switching up accent. In 1 minute, a Jamaican will speak like an American. In the other minute, a Jamaican will speak like a Jamaican. Ladies and gentlemen, another thing, and the most important trait, is they are true to themselves. They are true to themselves. A Jamaica way carry, a Jamaica way I go. Let me tell you something, yeah? Let me tell you something. Jamaica is close to paradise, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? The only place that is here on earth that is close to paradise, that is Jamaica. And I call Jamaica Canaan. Jamaica is the new Canaan that you have been looking for, ladies and gentlemen. Where else are you looking for when there is Jamaica? Okay, you've heard from this American lady that she's looking for peace. Where else? Where else, ladies and gentlemen? Where else can we find peace? Biblically, we can find peace in paradise. Yes, biblically, we can find peace in where? In paradise. But here on earth, where is peace found? Peace is found in Jamaica.
It's literally no peace in America. You know, y'all trying to come over here to America. There's really nothing here. These Jamaicans deserve so much better, though.
And for one reason or the other, I strongly believe that Jamaica could be the chosen one, you know. You understand? Huh? It's a very small island. It's a very small island, but it has a lot to offer, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it depends. Don't take everything that I have shared here out of context. Of course, it depends with you. Okay, some people go to Jamaica with a lot of negativity, you know. Some people go to Jamaica with a lot of negativity. And, you know, when you go to Jamaica with negativity, that is what the universe grants you. When you go with positivity, that is what the universe grants you at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. From what this lady has shared, is one of the most amazing things that I've actually listened to. Yeah? I have listened to a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, she has even said that she's also looking for a spouse. Yeah, that is amazing. Yes, another thing is Jamaicans are true to their roots. Yes, Jamaicans are true to their roots. They love the African people. Afro-Jamaicans love the African people. Jamaicans are one of the very few people in the world that respect their African ancestry. Even through their songs, you can listen to. Okay, they always speak about repatriations, ladies and gentlemen. People love, that kind of traits. That kind of trait, that kind of traits really, it's a likable trait. It's a likable trait. Someone who knows where he came from, okay, is a very likable trait. Another thing is the patois accent. Jamaican patois is very interesting. It's very nice. It's very musical to listen to. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, and for one reason or the other, I believe that Jamaicans have one of the most beautiful accent in the entire world. Trust me. Especially the ability to switch up in between accent. 1 minute a Jamaican will be speaking up in Kiswahili. I almost said Kiswahili. 1 minute a Jamaican will be speaking up in American accent. The next minute a Jamaican will be speaking up in Jamaican patois. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not easy to be able to do that. It's not easy. Switching up accent, switching up in between different accents is one of the most difficult traits. But look at how Jamaican people can be able to pull that out. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a very strong trait. Ability to switch up accent, in between accent. And Jamaica has one of the most beautiful accent in the entire world. I wish I could speak like a Jamaican. Trust me, I wish I could speak like a Jamaican. Okay? Another thing is strong resilience. Okay? Jamaicans have gone through very tough situations in life. Imagine they have gone through hurricane, but at the end of it all, they are still coming out alive. They are still coming out, and coming out successful out of all this. Strong resilience. Strong resilience signals protection. Maybe this is one of the reasons why Jamaican women, love Jamaican men. And also women, they are very strong. Look at how they are dominating, both in air and in sports, in whatever field they get themselves into. Jamaicans are dominating. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Eh? Yes, then we have Jamaican patois. Jamaican patois, the most beautiful accent in the entire world. Sometimes I wish I could speak patois very well, ladies and gentlemen. And sometimes I wish I could speak patois perfectly well. Patois sounds so musical, okay? Even when a Jamaican gets mad, You know, when a Jamaican get mad and you hear the patois in them, it sounds so nice. It sounds so musical. That's why a lot of Jamaicans can sing very well. Okay, maybe it's because of the influence of the accent patois. Another thing is the ability to switch up accent. Okay, 1 minute a Jamaican will speak in American, the next minute they will speak in a Jamaican patois. That's, it's not easy to pull that out. It's not easy. Switching up in between two accents, it's not something that anybody can do. Okay, but for a Jamaican, I have had a cartel interview in an American, studio. I was so surprised. Cartel can speak like, real like an American, complete like an American. Then in the next minute, he will switch up accent. Huh? That's a very smart guy. Ladies and gentlemen. Naturally, Jamaicans are smart people, They are very smart. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. The world is falling in love with the Jamaican people. Okay? And one of the reasons that I say Jamaicans are bold. Okay? You can't go wrong when you see a Jamaican. Jamaicans don't present themselves in different forms. If you meet a bad Jamaican, it's a bad Jamaican. If you meet a good Jamaica, it's a good Jamaica. They don't present themselves in different ways. They are bold. They are who they are. They don't change. They don't pretend. That's a beautiful trait, ladies and gentlemen. You know how hard it is to deal with a hypocrite, ladies and gentlemen. Jamaicans are not hypocrites. They are not. They are confident people. Jamaicans are confident people. That's why the world is falling in love with Jamaica. It doesn't matter whether it's a woman or it's a man. Either way, the world is falling in love with a Jamaican, ladies and gentlemen. And that's and this is why people love them. They are who they are. They are who they are. If you see a bad Jamaican, this is a bad Jamaican. You know how to handle him. You will know how to talk to him. But some people, they keep, some people in this world, they keep presenting themselves. You don't know whether this is a bad person, whether it's a good person. They pretend they're a bad person, but they pretend to be a good person. They are good people, but they pretend to be a bad people. You don't know where they fall. Ladies and gentlemen, another thing is, and this I got from a Jamaican. Jamaicans are neat, tight families. They create a neat, tight families. They create a neat, tight family. Yes, that's the word. If you marry a Jamaican lady, you're part of the family. If a Jamaican marries a lady, the lady automatically becomes part of the family, part of the village. Okay? They welcome her. She becomes part of them. She becomes a Jamaican. Once you marry a Jamaican, whether it's a woman or whether it's a man, and you are a non-Jamaican, automatically you become a Jamaican by assimilation. Yes, they accept you. They are accepting people. Jamaican people are accepting people. This is why the world falls in love with them. Yes. Yeah, another thing is the support. Yes, they fight among themselves. They have beef among themselves. Like right now, there is a beef between cartel fans and Beanie Man fans. There's a beef. They fight among themselves. But these guys also support each other. They got each other back. Jamaicans support a Jamaican every day. Jamaicans support a Jamaican every day. I noticed this from Kino Life YouTube channel, when Jamaicans in diaspora, they jointly support and help out the humble people in their own country. Yes, where the government cannot help the Jamaicans in diaspora, they stand in and they help their own people. That is a good trait. That is a nice trait. I was seeing building homes, building very nice homes for humble, places. Very nice homes. They join and they send something, and through the influence of Kino Life, someone has a good house, a good home. Someone has money for this one and that one for doing business. You understand? Brotherhood in Jamaica is very strong. They believe in the spirit of I and I, like I always say. Huh? Let me also tell you something that is very constant that also keeps coming up. The people that visit Jamaica, they keep talking about hospitality and how Jamaican people are very hospitable. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very constant. No wonder why when people go to Jamaica, they disappear. They stay there like 5, 10 years. You know, I've lived here in Jamaica for 5 years. I've lived here in Jamaica for 10 years, 20 years. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, of course, there are up and downs. There are up and downs. Of course, there are people that you will meet who are not very nice. There are people who you will meet who are very nice. That's how life is, ladies and gentlemen. But for the most part of it, you know, especially the African people who have, you know, visited Jamaica. There's one Kenyan brother who visited Jamaica, and I made a video about him, and he said he was appreciated like a human being. Okay, they don't look at your skin color. Actually, it's for the first time that he went to a country and appreciated an African man. As an African, he has always, you know, had problems with visiting countries and they do not appreciate him. But for Jamaica, they don't, hello, are you good? Are you okay? Are you satisfied? It was in Ocho Rios, you know, are you satisfied? Are you okay? And the people taking care of the beach, you know, they are not constantly bothering you, you know, they are not disturbing you, they are not asking you for money, they are not asking you for this. They are there doing what they are supposed to do. Something that other people, even in my own country, should be able to learn from. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a nice thing. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, ladies and gentlemen. The hospitality keeps coming. When people visit that place, they keep talking about hospitality. How people are so nice, appreciative to the foreigners.